Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode here at the Fit Fighter Podcast, the podcast gym of inspirational gym talk. I am your host, fellow fitness goer, TJ Williams, giving you the insight of my fitness journey, discussing and analyze fitness based subjects, and highlighted individuals involved in fitness, past, present, and future. All right. So before we kind of get on with this episode, I like to say we finally made it to 4th of July weekend. And of course, 4th of July is coming up Monday. And just a little safety precaution. I know a lot of you like to play with fireworks and, and definitely it drive your neighbors crazy. But in all seriousness, please be careful because, of course, the next day you don't want to go to the gym or go out to any place else without any hands or feet. So it's always best to be safe and always enjoy those cookouts and enjoying time with your family and also enjoying appreciation of the 4th of July holiday. All right. So before we kind of get on with this another episode, yep, I'll be traveling to Las Vegas, so I'll be bringing my show to with me. So of course, if there's any guests out there that want to talk about their story, I'm all open. Yeah, definitely. Okay, so with my guest today, she comes from Dundas, Ontario, Canada. That's was pretty much across the board from me. So, and of course, she's an owner of Iron Office Gym, if that's correct. Yep.
That is correct. Yeah.
And for those who are independent wrestling fans in the area, she's known as April Jones, and she wrestles for Hamilton Wrestling Entertainment. And I guess you're still currently the women's champion, right?
I'm transitioning out of that. So yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. Okay. So, all right. So, let me introduce everybody to Kristina Pedersen. All right. She's
Hello.
here to talk about her fitness journey. So, I'm gonna hand out to her. So, how we doing, Christina?
I'm well, thank you. I'm so excited to be here. Finally. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've
Yeah.
been trying to get her on the show for a long, long time. I pretty much
We've
was,
been trying to connect.
yeah.
Yeah. So
I
I'm really
mean,
happy that this is happening. Yeah.
yeah. It definitely is happening on my vacation, so that's very good.
Right.
All right. So, currently, what are you up to today? Because I know you said you had a wrestling show, or you did wrestling training, right?
I was, yeah. Yesterday I was wrestling. I had training yesterday, and I have a big show coming up this upcoming weekend for Courage Pro, which I know I saw you there a couple weeks back for one of the last shows.
Yeah.
So I do have a big show coming up on the 10th of July. So I'm just getting some training in just to get myself ready for the show.
Yeah, I wish I was there, but I'm stuck in Vegas, so I
It's
know.
tough for
Yeah,
you.
yeah, I know. I was there last time. Of course, me and my
Yeah.
partner Dan Machio, though of course we the Arcade Hills. We had our match against I forgot what his name was, but I know one of the wrestlers got injured during the match, and
Yes.
then like that we had to
Yeah.
we had to finish the match. But yeah, I was like I thought it was like kayfabe for a minute, but it was he was really
You had to
injured.
go home.
Yeah, we take it home. All right.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
Yeah. So you were training with David Seville or
I do, yeah.
yeah,
Dave with HPW,
yeah,
Hamilton Pro
yeah,
Wrestling.
yeah. I think I was there once. It was like a big box that you're like training. Yeah,
It is. It's like it's just right down to it's the bare bones there.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I gotta go back there and visit once in a while, at least get some training. I mean,
Oh, you
yeah,
should for sure. Yeah. It's like it's a really good energy there. It's a really good feel. And if you are in the circuit up here, a lot of people go there and train. So it's always nice to go see people and just like, get in, connect, talk, train.
yeah. It's like of course you got subners there too. Like you got people probably in the independent circuit that goes in there and just offer their like expertise.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. There's such value in that.
Yeah, I always enjoy those seminars. I mean, really. I mean, the last one I took, not there, but when I was doing wrestling show in Batavia, Kevin
Yeah.
Sullivan did a seminar. That was like definitely a kind of like an eye opener. It's like what you
Yeah.
like how to do a wrestling match. It's like it's easy for you to do a wrestling match, but it's like putting your gimmick in the wrestling match. It's like that's like a
Oh,
tough.
of
Yeah,
course. Yeah, I think, when it comes to wrestling, it's so easy to watch it on TV and you think, oh, that's easy, or I can do it. But once you step into that ring, it's a whole different element.
definitely. Yeah, of course, I got double the indemnity because I got the martial arts background, and everything I do in wrestling, it's like it goes into martial arts, and it's like
Sure, it's a
two.
huge, it's an influence for you, right? It really
Yeah,
transposes over for you.
Yeah, the only difference is I can't hurt anybody.
Gotta reel that in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So this is what you're going to do for us, Christina. For us and the listeners, and for me, you're going to bring us back in time to like before all this happened for you. So, of
Yeah.
course, the first question I ask is, describe yourself before you got into fitness.
Before I got into fitness?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I've been in my fitness journey for a long time. So prior to really dialing in on weightlifting, I would say I've been a long time marathon runner. So my whole life, I would consider myself an athlete. I was really into soccer growing up, tennis growing up, every type of dance, gymnastics, basketball, volleyball. So my whole life, I would say, was really influenced by sports. And then I guess it would have been maybe 2009. I started to get into marathon running. And I had a bad fall a few years after I had gone into it, and it was in the winter, and I had slipped on some black ice, and I injured myself really badly. And so I thought at that point, okay, I'm going to sign up for a local gym, and I'm just going to train on the treadmill there. I figured it'd probably be my safest route. So I signed up on, and I was doing the treadmill, and they kept trying to sell me on personal training there. And I was really direct with them. I said, listen, I'm only here to use your treadmill during the winter. I'm not going to be working out here. It's just for the treadmill. And as I was running, and the first weekend, you're overlooking the weight room, and you see people weightlifting, and the kind of the second week into it, I was thinking, well, that kind of looks interesting. And sort of the first month into it, I thought, you know what, I could probably go do some weights. And so eventually, I built up the courage, because it's intimidating. If you've never been in the weight room, if you've never lifted weights before, it's very intimidating. You don't know where to go. You see people who are significantly, you feel are significantly stronger than you, and built, at the time I was very svelte because I was doing so much running. And so eventually, I joined some classes. I started to dabble in weightlifting, and it was a natural evolution for me as I got into it, because I'm a very competitive person. It was like, okay, I'm liking this, and now I want to challenge myself, and I want to go heavier and heavier. And so I would say, um, if this is what you're asking, like, this is sort of how I kind of got into it. And for myself, I would say prior to, I was a very shy and timid individual, and transitioning over into getting into more of the bodybuilding and lifting weights, it really sort of opens up and makes you significantly more confident in yourself when you're able to execute certain lifts. It's like it builds up your self-esteem. And I think that's, a really important thing. It's not even about building the muscle, it's about really what being in the gym does for you internally.
Oh, awesome. I mean, yeah, you started off just running a treadmill, and of course, you got those people that got their eye on you, and they ask you like, are you willing to be a personal trainer or even a fitness instructor? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it's like that's for me. It's like when I started going to gym, and it wasn't a treadmill, it was the elliptical. I would
Okay.
go,
Yeah.
yeah, I was go crazy with the pre-core elliptical, and I usually go for like either an hour or either 2 hours straight. So
Yeah. Good
yeah,
on
so
you.
yeah, so my record was like for the elliptical 2 hours and 5 minutes. So that was,
Wow.
oh yeah,
Good for you. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, that's when I was like at my best. I mean, I was like slimmed down, like pretty much I could say I was like 180 pounds, and I was like pretty much in good shape. And I was taking classes like you were, and
Yeah.
then I kind of transitioned from going from taking classes to teaching classes.
Good
So
for
I
you.
mean, I built up that courage to actually do it because people got inspired of like me going in class, and I was like going all out. So I was pretty much in front of the class. I wanted to challenge
Yeah.
the instructor. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's a big step to do something like that. And, you really have to step outside your comfort zones and push yourself as a human.
Yeah, so that of course, like your push was like to get into bodybuilding. You was already athletic. You did like all these sports. You did marathons, so that was
Yeah.
your push into like getting into like bodybuilding. So
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. And I think, you learn a lot about yourself along the way. And in the process, you learn a lot about inner strength. And especially when it gets into bodybuilding and even powerlifting, you have to learn to be patient and consistent and dedicated. And, you know, you're waking up and going to the gym the days you don't necessarily feel like it, but you're doing it. You know, if you have a goal and you want to achieve that goal, you know what needs to get done to do that. And I think that's, you know, a really key component people um, at times, and it could be at anything in life. You know, we do things a couple of times and we want to see that instant results. And when we are talking about bodybuilding, for an example, or powerlifting, it's a process. And you have to be very patient and dedicated to that process. So,
So also with bodybuilding, it's also you need to create some type of structure. I mean,
absolutely.
yeah, because I mean, you just can't go into the gym and just thinking that you just can do any workout, and then next you know you don't have any results. But you know you have to have some type of structure that you can stick to, and you know it can change after a while. You know, depending on how it feels. Like
Of
yeah,
course,
yeah,
yeah. Yeah, I agree. And I know when I was first transitioning sort of from marathon running over into bodybuilding, it was it was a learning curve for me because I had to change my whole diet. And I always felt that I ate well, you know, I ate clean. And it took me a long time to sort of connect the dots of really what the proper nutrients were in terms of protein intake that I needed to build the muscle. And so for a long time, I would run to the gym. I was, you know, weightlifting, and then I would run home, and I was coming home and I was having, for an example, a salad, thinking, okay, I'm eating really well, but I wasn't really upping my protein intake. And I wasn't balancing out sort of everything I needed to build that muscle. And so while I, you know, was becoming frustrated at the time, I'm thinking, well, I'm putting in all this time and being dedicated. Why aren't I seeing these results? And you start learning, you know, once you start asking the questions and educating yourself, you sort of, you know, navigate your way in it and you realize, okay, I need to start doing this. And for myself, although I still, even to this day, I love to run, I still run. I don't do marathons. You know, I scale back the amount of running that I do, and I feel my body appropriately so I can still weight lift and power lift and have the strength to do that.
yeah. I'm kind of thinking of doing a half marathon, but you know I think my
Mhm.
body can't take it as much as I used to when I was at my best. You know, but I still
Yeah,
run. I mean, I did a run this morning over like by the Niagara Falls National Park, like the American
yeah,
Falls. Yeah,
good for
so that
you. Yeah,
yeah, I mean that's like pretty much the best destination to do a lot of running because you know
of
it's just
course.
like it's like
Yes,
yeah, it's just like so big. It's like you got of course you got the national park and everything, and then you got Goat Island. So that's just so amazing. It's like I can see Canada.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like visually stimulating when you run. That's, you know, now when I run, I know I like to do a lot of trail running. You know, for me, if I can run in nature and see what's going on, it's an opportunity to sort of still get some runs in. But I think from a mental component, it's like it's very cathartic as well. I'm out in nature, I'm seeing all this beautiful scenery, you know, and I think it's really important that when you're doing something like that, you're enjoying it as well. And it doesn't feel like, oh, I have to get so many kilometers in and I have to do it in this time frame. It's like suddenly you go and you're listening to your music and you get into your own zone and you're feeling good.
Yeah, it's like yeah, get that good song in your ear, and this just like a mode saying, just keep going, nonstop.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
You know it. You know it. Yeah.
uh, yeah. Can you think of any other challenges that you were going through starting out?
Um, I would say those were probably the most challenging ones for me was probably just connecting the two. And I would say maybe a little bit of just finding the balance of what was working for me. I know we follow each other on social media and we have for a very long time. And if you do follow me, I'm a very, very regimented person. I'm up at 4 a.m. every single day. I like to work out early in the morning. That's when I train. Um, but there was sort of that transition of finding what worked for me. Um, and so I think once and we're all different. Some people I know like training at night. Some people, you know, they do train in the morning. So for me, it was just more of finding a routine that worked best for me, that I was going to maximize my time in the gym. And that is challenging. You know, we if we work, we have families and other commitments to stay committed to doing it and staying consistent was probably one of the challenges, I would say. And maybe even from like a personal standpoint, sometimes it's difficult to tune out the negatives in our life or things that we have going on, or really just focus on the gym. And that's something, you really have to learn to do. It's in here, it's in here. You have to stay focused. And I've always viewed the time in the gym is that's one time of the day I never feel guilty about. You know, I that's one time of the day that I set aside for myself. And I think uh, it can be difficult for anybody to um, feel, and you feel almost a little selfish. It's like, okay, this is my time. And it's learning not to feel selfish, because we all need something in our lives that we shouldn't feel guilty about. And for me, going to the gym and setting that time for myself every single day is it makes me a better person. It makes me a better Kristina. It makes me a better friend, daughter, uh, mother. And I think that's the most important thing, is not being afraid to take time for yourself.
Yeah, I can agree. Really, I can relate. I mean, when I'm teaching my classes, I
Yeah.
think of all these participants. They have a busy life, and they can't fit working out, like they can't fit a structure of like working out early in the morning. But yet, like I was saying before, some people can't come up with a structure, but yet they take classes that I think that helps them better because the structure is always set for them.
Of
And
course.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
Absolutely. And I think something like that is like, we hear that old adage of, something's better than nothing. And I think that's a perfect case of like, somebody's still going out and doing something. They're setting aside an hour for themselves. And when they're there, they're invested in that hour that they're there with you. Right.
yeah, definitely. When I'm definitely teaching these classes, of course, they have like this different like guidelines, of course, and they pretty much
Yeah.
help me out because for now working out, I like to do like timing workout. Like I like to do like
Yeah.
time bouts. That I think that's a
Yeah.
lot easier for me because you know it's like you could set up like for 30 seconds and 15 seconds of rest, and then of course you can build that time up. So instead of working on reps, you can do time bouts. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. You're finding what's like working best for you and how you're maximizing your time.
Uh, yeah. All right. So, of course, you got yourself started with bodybuilding. Did you started to compete after that? Did that give you like sort of a sort of a push to compete in bodybuilding?
A little bit, but to be honest with you, um, with bodybuilding and the competing component to it, um, I find in general it to be, and I have a lot of respect for people who do compete. So this is not a shot at anybody who competes whatsoever. Um, I don't like the cycle in which I see people go through. I think it's a very difficult cycle for people mentally. I see competing in competitions hard on them because they get themselves to a point where they're so lean, and then when they start to we'll call it come back to reality, it's very difficult for them to see their body change. And I see struggles with people, so not just physically but mentally as well. So the two components, I don't like the cycle that bodybuilding for competitions. It just is not something I liked for myself, and I see other people struggling with that. So for myself, um, I feel every single time I step into the gym, I'm competing with myself. I want to be a better me. Um, and that is a healthier approach for me. So I have no interest in doing powerlifting competitions. I would still consider doing bodybuilding competitions is not something I would, for myself, that I would want to pursue anytime soon.
Yeah. I mean, of course, there's like two different types of motivation. There's the external and the internal. So,
Yeah,
where would you place yourself in there? Would you say external, internal, or even in between?
maybe in between.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah. Like
mean,
I think, for myself, it's like I like to keep my physique at a certain level, sometimes in the summer, like I am more apt to be outdoors and, running again. And, I might shred down a little bit, but I like to keep my body pretty much at maintenance. I keep it at a really good lean level at all times because I feel my best when I'm at like that. If I have certain goals for myself, I want to build more muscle. I know a healthy way to alter my diet in which I'm getting the proper caloric intake and the proper nutrients that my body needs to help me sustain and get to that next level. But I just, yeah, I feel good. And I think that's the most important thing. I've learned to find that balance between the two that allows for me to lead a healthy lifestyle, both physically and mentally.
Yeah, I say like with most bodybuilders, it's mostly if they want to win like championships, they see like all these bodybuilders, like I'm gonna put the name out there, Arnold Schwarzenegger. I
Yeah.
mean, everybody looks up to him.
Mhm.
He sees that he's was Mr. Universe, and then of course he's an actor,
Yeah.
and he's like pretty much the highest well-known person in the world. So
Yeah.
people look at that saying, I want to be the next Arnold Schwarzenegger, and
Yeah.
that's the external motivation. But yet, at the same time, it's not always in externals like internals. Yeah, you're not going to always be out there to win a competition. You're going to be out there just to have fun. You want people to look at you and say, yeah, I mean, you're not that person that you're always trying to win a championship. You're always there to really be a fun person, like be out
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you're not, it's anything in life. If you're not enjoying it, then there's a problem. If you're doing something like this and it's like it's causing negatives in your life, then you need to reevaluate what you're doing and why you're doing it.
Yeah. I mean, for me, pro wrestling, I'm not out there to get a contract. I mean, I'm out there having fun because, I've been a wrestling fan since I was 4.
Of
And,
course, yeah.
I'm not looking to be the next Hulk Hogan or The Rock or Stone Cold Steve Austin. I'm just being me and just being that
Yeah.
fun guy. Yeah. And
I like that. Yeah.
seeing all those fans smile, really, it's just entertaining. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like it should be a positive outlet. When you're wrestling, it should be a positive outlet. And that's how I always view it. And it's like, I'm in the same thing. I have no desire, no aspiration to get into WWE or anything like that. But I enjoy going out. I enjoy going to the shows. I enjoy connecting with fans. I enjoy being in the locker room with other wrestlers. So, that is the important thing.
Yeah. Speaking of wrestling, what was your push? What was your envy to actually get started with wrestling?
So really, when I first started with wrestling, um, my partner at the time was a wrestler, and I was going into the gym, and everybody was saying because of my muscles, like you need to become a wrestler. You've got a good look. You should get into wrestling. And I was like, I don't know about that. And then it was a natural involvement. I became at the time my partner's manager. And so I really played, a manager type role. I came out, I was April Jones. And then all of a sudden it was like, it started off, the natural manager roles, some slaps and this and that. And as that role progressed, it was like something I started having little spots. And so I started training and getting more involved as my role in a manager, really, doing body slams and suplexes and really kind of taking that manager role to the next thing. And I think it was just like, it was a natural involvement as I was doing that. It was like, okay, it was time to sort of branch off and just start actually wrestling myself.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when I went to a wrestling show, I met Spike Dudley. I mean, I was taking a picture with him in the ring, and then of
Yeah.
course he asked me if I was a professional wrestler, and of course I kind of said, no, I wasn't going to get it. I mean, but yet it's like envy kind of pushed me into going to wrestling. I kind of made a promise saying if I was to pass my 3rd-degree black belt test, then I would go into wrestling.
Okay.
But of course, I didn't pass my 3rd-degree test, and I went trained into wrestling anyway. But
Yeah. Yeah.
yet, I felt that was like a good turn for me because going into wrestling kind of build up for me going to my 3rd degree again, and which I
Yeah.
passed. And
Yeah.
I feel like
Congratulations.
I feel like going into wrestling kind of build me up to really try harder and not feel down for failing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's like a really, really great thing. That's like a super pivotal time for you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, how many matches have you gotten so far?
Oh gosh, I couldn't even tell you. I've been in wrestling now for since 2017. And really during that time, I have traveled all over the States, up here in Canada. And I've just had so many really, I honestly, I think at one point I counted, it was like 31 different promotions I had worked for.
Mm.
So like, it's, I would be guessing if I told you how many matches I've been involved in. I would be guessing. So a lot.
Yeah, I can't even count. I mean, I say I roughly wrestled 100 matches. I mean, I started my first match was back in 2014. I mean,
Okay.
I remember that drive to Oshawa to
Mm,
GCW. Yeah,
yes. Yeah.
and I wrestled twice in that show. I mean I did like a singles match with Eric Kearney's Easy
Oh
E.
gosh.
Yeah,
Yeah. Eric, easy. Yeah.
yeah,
Awesome.
yeah. And then it
Yeah.
went on to like a 6-man street fight, and of course,
Amazing.
yeah, it was him and Sean Saber and
Yeah.
Rob Rage.
Shane,
Yeah.
Shane Paper. Yeah. Garage Rage. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think I had a singles match with Rob Rage once. It was in the States. It was Riverworks Wrestling. I think we was
Yeah.
doing a tape, and I was doing a squash match, and
Ah,
yeah, he threw me around all over the place,
oh,
and
I
yeah. Yeah, I
bet.
think he was like going for a chop to the chest, and I think he got my throat, and my throat was hurting
Oh.
like for a week. Yeah,
You'll
but
never forget that one. Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I'm lucky enough that I was very, very coachable with him. Than the match went well. I know he had another match with another wrestler, and it didn't go well. And he would like his name says, rage. He went on a rage because the
You went on a
wrestler
rage.
kept messing up.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
but nevertheless, I mean, he was pretty much a genuine guy. So I mean, I did well with him. So that was
Yeah.
good.
Rob's a nice guy. Yeah.
All right, so yeah, you said you had the women's title, but you were like saying you're transitioning to something.
Yeah, I've just transitioned out of working with them right now. So I'm just focusing on a couple other things. And so I'm back in school full time. I have working full time. So I've just tried to, right now, I'm streamlining the matches I'm taking and the promotions I'm working for. So I'm just trying to make it a little bit more quality over quantity right now, and I think that's like a super important thing when it comes to wrestling as well. I think quite often we get so caught up in bookings, bookings, bookings. And pre-COVID, I was working every single weekend, at least 2 to 3 matches. And you almost kind of get into autopilot. Is you're working all week, and then all of a sudden all weekend you're gone. You're traveling, you're traveling, you're traveling. And when COVID first happened, um, it was very difficult. It was a very difficult transition for me because I was so used for years of go, go, go and working, working, working. And, you know, there was a lot of uncertainty when COVID first happened because we thought, okay, well, the shows are shut down for a couple of weeks. And then a couple of weeks turned into, a couple more weeks, and that turned into a couple months. And it really allowed for me to reprioritize just some things going on in my life personally. Uh, and obviously, traveling to the States was not an option. That was something, I know you travel up here, I travel down there. That's just kind of, part of wrestling. You kind of go where the bookings are. And so I was like, okay, well, we weren't wrestling up here. I couldn't travel down to the States to wrestle because the States opened up wrestling long before we did. But traveling across just wasn't an option for us. But yeah, when COVID happened, it was difficult, but I had to reprioritize some stuff in my life. And I didn't realize, I guess maybe being on the road as much as I was and being away from my home as much as I was, the impact it was having on certain components in my personal life. And, it really made me reprioritize my life in general.
I mean, I can definitely relate. And I mean, when
Yeah.
COVID hit, and like most of us were like out of job. I mean, for me, I was like
Yeah.
laid off for 2 months, luckily. And
Yeah.
within that 2 months, I was trying to focus on getting myself back in shape because I
Yeah.
was like, I think I would never have the time to actually get up and work out. I was just
Yeah.
get up
Yeah.
and go to work. But for that, it's like I can get up early and just do like a short workout, and I still would feel good to go to work.
Yeah.
And yet,
Yeah.
at the same time, I would create. I had my idea to do my first podcast show, the Kick Pod, which
Yeah,
luckily I went through 2 years and 100 episodes, and
amazing.
yeah.
Yeah.
So hopefully with for this show, I can at least get to 100 episodes, and like if I'm looking up to get Arnold Schwarzenegger for 100 episode, that'd be something great. Yeah.
That is something very good. Yeah. Yeah. But, like you're a perfect example is like, if during COVID, um, somebody wasn't able to find something positive in what transpired, then it's really unfortunate because I think we all were able to find something really positive in our lives and, really reevaluate things and important things in our lives, make us better people. I hope so anyway.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, people still out of their job and still looking for jobs. I mean, it's tough, especially with
It's
the
a
rise of
challenging
everything.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very challenging time.
Hey. So what would you say, who would you look up to during your journey?
My fitness journey or just in general?
Like say your
Like,
fitness journey. Yeah.
fitness journey, I would say, I mean, it would probably seem very cliche saying this, but like Dana Lynn Bailey is like a super important person for me because when I first saw Dana, um, she sort of was abstract in her look. She was a very fit lady. She still is a very fit lady. Um, I always found her to be natural in the sense she didn't, quite often in bodybuilding, you see women who have, breast enhancements, so they have, big boobs and this. And Dana was very like natural, like very athletic looking and very strong, very committed. And so for me, when I saw her, I was like, okay, this is a powerful woman. And I really feel like I felt very gravitated towards her and her, sort of her views in the bodybuilding world and flipping with that as well. Because I grew up always loving wrestling at a very, very, very young age. Wrestling was something I gravitated towards. And when we got into sort of the early 90s, and we'll talk about the Attitude Era, at that time it was China. I was very
Hmm.
drawn to China. She was a very strong woman, very, muscular. And I was always really drawn to her. I thought like, wow, like if only I could be like strong and powerful like her. So I would say, the two sort of overlapped in some aspects because they're both really strong women that I admire and really kind of aspire to be like in some aspects.
Yeah. I mean, of course, China, before China, there was of course Mildred Burke. I mean, I
Yeah,
know she's known as like the first bodybuilding women wrestler. I mean,
yeah,
yeah, of course, yeah. When I was training wrestling, our coaches would have us watch documentaries.
yes,
I mean,
yes,
one of the documentaries was like women wrestling, like going
yeah,
back to like the Phallus Moolah days. It's like that's what the thing about when my art teacher once told me. It's learn, go beyond what you know.
yes,
So yeah, so
yes. I
I
like
mean,
that. Yeah, I like that a lot.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it's like I mean, I was so good at doing artwork because I'm more familiar with like drawing pictures of Spider-Man. Like mostly I look at comic books, but
yeah,
I never had to ever had to like desire to study art from years ago, like
yeah.
Michelangelo or like Da Vinci. And it's just that's just
That's
really.
what resonated with you is like like looking at things like that. And I think that's important. We all find something that we connect with. Finding something that we connect with is like super important and it plays an important role in our lives, it influences us.
Mm. All right, so if you were, what subject would you think people need to know about fitness? Like, what was the one thing if they were starting off with bodybuilding?
Um, Honestly, I would say diet. I would say, you know, eh, some people will say it's like that 80-20%, rules, like 80% what you eat, 20% your workout. Some people say it's 70-30. But if you don't have like the proper nutrition and diet nailed in, the workout's the workout, you know. But your diet is really the most important thing.
Yeah, because I mean, of course, you gotta pretty much watch what you eat. Mostly the products that you buy are like, they say it looks good, but in the same time, it could be a thumbs down. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yep. Stick with the basics. You can never go wrong with that. There's no quick fixes, and I see it over and over again, people wanting to have, special teas or special pills, and everybody thinks there's this like magic, concoction that they can take that will suddenly help them lose weight or gain muscle. And really, at the end of the day, it comes down to the basic fundamentals of your diet and your training and keeping it consistent and, being patient as well is like a big thing.
Yeah, it's like it's always best when you're on a diet. You want to be authentic. Well, basically the first thing I do when I go to the store is the produce.
Yeah.
I have to get my fruits and vegetables, and for me, and for chicken, for me, I have to cook. I mean, I can't go out to eat. Yeah, there's
No,
no way.
that's
Yeah,
me. Yeah. Yeah. I totally get it. Yeah.
I mean, I want to be able to save my money. I'm saving. Of course, I saved my money for this trip to Vegas, and I don't want to spend money like buying pizza and like going to McDonald's, and I just want to prep my food, and then that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I get that. And I think, if you are going through all the work of going to the gym and you're showing up and you're being present, why would you not want to put in that equal effort into your diet? Like, and I think when we think of our diet, you know, once again, it seems so cliche, but like food is fuel for our body. And, you need to make sure you're fueling your body. You're not going to have a good workout. You're not going to maximize your workout if you're not fueling it properly. You're not going to see those results unless you're fueling your body properly. And I think that's like a super important thing to remember. It's like when you're going and you're showing up to the gym, some days it's hard. Some days we are asleep or we may have things on our mind, and we're going and we're doing the best that we can in that moment. But you're showing up and you're doing the work, the goal is always to give it your all. So whatever your all is that day, you need to do that. Your all will vary day to day, but you have to show up and give it your all.
Yeah, I know I work best when I'm hot. I mean, when it's hot
Mm.
outside, that gives me that's like a booster. It's like my energy
Yeah.
goes skyrocket, and
Yeah, absolutely.
that's why I like Vegas weather. I mean, it's hot, and I'm like constant energy.
Good.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Well, yeah. As long as it's not snow, that's like kryptonite.
I feel
Yeah.
that deep within my soul. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So before we kind of get to our hidden gym segment, here's the last question. What motivational or inspirational quote describes your journey?
Oh, my journey. Oh, goodness. Probably if you don't take a chance, you don't have a chance. You know, if you don't take a chance in anything in life, and I'm talking about the journey of life, we so many times we sit there and I think to myself, even going back, and I had touched base on this earlier, if I kept thinking I'm gonna go try working out in the gym and try hitting the weight room, if I didn't try it, I wouldn't be where I am today. So if I didn't take that chance and go out and try doing it and pushing myself, I wouldn't be here today.
Yeah, that makes sense. Thinking about my journey, look where I'm at now. I mean, really,
Yeah.
I'm busy. I mean, I have never been busy since I don't know, since I was in high school. I mean, but now it's like I wasn't busy when I was in college. Well, let me rephrase that. I was busy, but when I got out of college, I was like I had all this free time. I
Yeah.
could find a good job, but but now with all this happening, my full-time job, fitness, karate, pro
Yeah.
wrestling, I'm keeping myself busy. But
Yeah. In a very positive way, and I think
yeah,
that's like such like a key thing in life is, making sure whatever we're doing, because I'm, super into leading a positive life, and it's like everything has to connect, and everything in life does connect, and sometimes it's difficult to understand what those connections are, but eventually it does all make sense. So,
yeah. Hey. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached our hidden gem segment of the show. So I'm gonna ask Kristina for 7 questions, and this is basically the fun part. This is where things get entertaining. So we're gonna
okay.
find like the different side of you. All right. So the first question would be the best advice you ever gotten, and who said it?
Ooh. And is this about fitness?
It could be about anything. I mean,
Anything? Best advice? Um, Honestly, trust your gut. It'll never lie to you.
oh yeah,
Yeah, trust your gut. always. I'm a strong believer in that.
Yeah, and also trust your heart. I mean, if your heart
Or,
gives a signal,
you know it. It's connected. Yeah.
yeah. All right. Usually, it's, guests normally don't get to someone, but the worst advice you ever gotten.
Um. Huh,
Hmm.
okay. That's probably. Uh. I think I don't know if I would call it advice, but um, staying when you have a job, you need to stick it out. With sticking with stay with something. Even when you know something's no longer serving a purpose, and we think about relationships, for an example, and everybody says, well, you should try to work it out, even though you know you shouldn't, and it's like people work it out, work it, a relationship, you have to work it out. And I would say that's probably one of the things, like we stay in something too long where it's not serving us anymore, serving us in a positive way.
Yeah, I say like I had like my job working as a cart associate at a grocery store, and I mean, I couldn't stand that. Well, mostly I do my job well, but mostly it was management.
Yeah,
It's like if you're gonna like spark orders, I usually need to be fighting by my side. I mean,
yeah,
don't be
yeah,
standing behind a rock and expect me to spill my blood when you're just out behind the rock and you're just barking orders. So that's
yeah.
just
So when
yeah.
people are saying, well, you got to work through it, or that's just how it is, it's not, you know, it shouldn't have to be that way.
I mean, definitely, if you're that person that just barks orders and you're behind the rock, I mean, what's the why you open your mouth? That's pretty much how I would say, yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. How would you reward yourself? I kind of call this the guilty pleasure.
Oh, like if it's a treat, I enjoy a good glass of whiskey.
Mhm. Oh,
Yeah, I like a good glass of whiskey. Yeah.
yeah. So, anything else you want to like other than just whiskey? Like, I wouldn't say food per se. Like, saying if you are like done, of course, you've done all these things, but you say you need a vacation. Like for me, my guilty pleasure is Las Vegas. So I did all this
Oh,
work and I'm going there.
I would say, like, if for myself, like in on a daily, on a more regular basis, like I'm huge, huge, huge into hiking and spending time into the nature, like in nature. I try to go on a hike, if not every day, at least every other day. And to me, that's like time I really like. I love that, and it's super important to me.
Yeah, I don't think I can go out in nature. You never know what you run into.
And
I,
that's that. See, for me, it's I love to go out and see what I'm going to run into. And I feel really fortunate. The area that I live in, it's within the green belt, so it's like every time yesterday was I saw a beaver, I saw a deer. Yeah, like, so going out, it's like I never know what I'm going to see, and that is what excites me when I go out. And it's like to have the opportunity, experience to come across some of the wildlife that I do. I feel completely honored. It's amazing.
yeah, I think I see enough deer coming out. Like I was coming down my street one day, and I see a doe coming out like from the sidewalk, and I was like, whoa! I thought that was like a long-legged dog, and then it was like a deer, and it just bolted right into like the city street. It's like, woo! Ah,
Poor thing. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. All right. So, what famous celebrity would you want to work out with?
Ooh, probably The Rock.
I knew it. That's like
You
the
knew
common.
it.
Yeah, I was thinking every guest I probably interview, they say they want to work out with The Rock.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I would love to see what that man does. I'll tell you that right now. Yeah.
yeah. I'd be surprised if I run into him in Vegas. I'd be surprised. Yeah, because
I hope you do. I hope you do.
yeah. Funny thing, I was in Vegas last year and I met Sean Stasiak. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I wasn't expecting him to be there, but no, it was
No.
like it's like one of the black belts that were there. I guess he was associated with Sean Stasiak, and it's like my master instructor like kind of texted me, and I was like packing, and then I was like, "There's a wrestler here that you don't know," but that's like I look down there, and it's like it's Sean Stasiak. So yeah,
Wow.
I mean,
Yeah. How wonderful.
yeah, I'm just like a good at encounter celebrities. Like
Mm.
it was him, and then there was like Marshall Teague. If you've seen the movie Roadhouse, yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Nice.
yeah, yeah. He's the one that had a fight with Patrick Swayze, and of course he had his throat ripped out. So yeah,
Yeah.
well, it's surprising. All right, secret talent.
Um, oh goodness, secret talent. I mean, I don't know if I'm really talented or not, but I like to think I'm a good dancer.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can
I'm
see
good
it.
in my
Yeah.
mind. um, I would say dancing, and I do like to do. I would consider myself an artist, so I do like to do a lot of art,
Yeah, definitely.
sketching. Yeah.
uh, all right. If you were in a movie, what kind of movie would you be in?
Oh, a rom-com for sure. I love romantic movies. Yeah, romantic funny movies. Yeah.
Yeah. You think they could make like a remake of The Mannequin?
Oh, that'd be a
Yeah.
good one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We just got to find someone that looks like Andrew McCarthy.
that's it.
Yeah, I used to watch that movie a lot when I was a kid. I mean,
Yeah,
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 it's a good
yeah.
one.
That one scene that scared me, that she was going to get crushed in the compactor, and that scene used to scare me. Yeah,
It
but
resonated in your mind. Yeah.
uh, all right. Here's the last question.
Yeah.
10 years from now.
Hmm. Where do I see myself?
Yeah.
Hmm. I genuinely just hope that, if I continue down the path that I am on, I just want to see myself happy and healthy and surrounded by, really amazing people. I feel really fortunate at this stage in my life that I have a really good circle around me, and I hope that that just continues to flourish for me. And, I love my family so much, and I just really want to see, my family do well and lead by example.
Uh, Amazing. Yeah, I mean, you just want to go like for me, like my nieces. Of course, I got my oldest niece is going to be 15 this year, and I mean, seeing her
Ah,
10 years from now, I mean, 25, and now very successful. I mean, really, it's like it's a great thing that the border kind of opened up, because I haven't seen my nieces for over 2 years since the pandemic dropped. So
so hard. Yeah. It's
yeah,
been such a hard time. Yeah. And it's like, I think, we really have this, something like that, for an example, and I don't want to speak on your behalf, but it's like, it makes you appreciate and value the time that you are able to spend, for an example, with your nieces, in a different way. It's like sometimes we take things like that for granted. And all of us, and now it's like, wow, like I get to spend time with my nieces, or I get to see them, and you treasure that time in a different way, don't you?
yeah, and I can't think of like my time with my grandma before she passed away. I mean, I was lucky enough to see her in the hospital before she passed away, and it's like that's just one thing that felt devastating, you
Of
know.
course, yeah,
And
it is.
it kind of gives me like the even the urge to like to actually visit her grave. It's like almost like you're telling her, "I'm sorry that I didn't spend the time as
With
I
you,
need to."
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the
So
thing, when we think about time, time has like a magical way of slipping by, and we think we have so much of it, and the reality is we don't. So it's, we always have to take every moment we have with such appreciation and treasure it, and the treasure the time we have together. And in life, we have these opportunities of, do we spend time, really wasting it on things that aren't serving us and bringing us all this negativity, or we can take that, go the opposite way, and like treasure the time and spend it around and with people and influences in our life that are value added, and it's like, I don't know, it's the same choice we have. So I'd rather go the one way, positive way, than the negative way.
yeah. All right. So before we kind of close out, is there any last minute words you'd like to say to our listeners out there?
Well, I mean, thank you for tuning in, and thank you very, very much for having me on the show. I really just appreciate it. I appreciate you even wanting to talk with me. So I really feel honored about that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I definitely want to get the positive message out there, because people are always so negative about going to the gym. Luckily we got Joey Swole. That's
Oh,
like,
yeah. Yeah. And you know what? I'm glad that you said that, because I really, I do think it's important, especially if you are feeling insecure about getting out onto the gym, going out onto the floor. It is like, there's we all start somewhere, and I know, everybody says that somebody starts somewhere, but it's true, we all start somewhere. And nobody started off at the top, and it doesn't matter where we are in life. Nobody starts off up here. We all have to work our way up. So, I think everybody should challenge themselves and get out there, and maybe it's not lifting weights. Maybe it's just getting to the gym and going on the treadmill or the elliptical, but get out there and just start getting more confident within yourself.
Right. All right. Thank you very much, Kristina, for
Thank
joining
you.
us. And of course, hope everything goes well with you, of course,
Thank
with
you.
wrestling and your future. All right. So I'm
Thank
going to
you.
do this little closing for our podcast. For those who are just tuning in, make sure you tune into my previous episodes on the bicbpradio.com, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. And I'll see you next time for another session here at the Fit Fighter Gym. And this is your host, TJ Williams, closing the gym.